Hello witches, and welcome back
to Activist Witches,
where we discuss witchcraft and
activism.
You can call me Isha, my pronouns are she, they.
You can call me Raven, my pronouns are they, them.
And in today's video, we're going to assign tarot cards to characters
from our favorite video game,
Baldur's Gate 3. This is a test trial, so you let us know what you think, and then we have more ideas, we can continue this. But before we get started, let us remind you that we've opened a Ko-fi, which is an alternative to Patreon that takes less from creators. And on there, you can do a repeated donation to help us out with what we do here, a one-off donation, or even get a tarot reading with me, Italian style. The low-income option starts at £5. And for the foreseeable future, my profits from tarot reading go split between the Good Law Project and Coaches to Gaza, who support Palestinian refugees relocating to Egypt. So hey, if you'd like to support what we do here, thank you so very much. The sweat is getting to places already.
We are vulnerable to cold damage and lightning damage.
So, for those who don't know Baldur's Gate 3, which is completely fair, this is not a video game channel.
Well, how were you introduced to it?
I was introduced to it because of Lisa Pappas, because here on YouTube, she does tarot, and also she fell for the pale elf, like most people did. Like, unpopular opinion, I don't like Astarion. That's not true. But maybe we'll go into that when we get there. Baldur's Gate 3 is a Dungeons & Dragons based video game. Very, very well done. What we're doing today is picking characters. We've picked 13 plus a bonus. And we'll tell you 2 tarot cards that we think connect to them, given their backstory, their drive.
Their development, their journey through the story.
So, by all means, these are not, definitive of anyone. This is just our opinion. And especially seeing that Larian has tried to tag some of their shorts as tarot. Larian, leave that work to the professionals. And here we are to help you. So we're going to start with Shadowheart.
God's favorite princess.
Yes, I'm a gatekeeper and a hater. I'm also God's favorite princess.
I've said it before, we actually adore Jennifer. Jennifer and Aliona have a channel here on YouTube where they play Baldur's Gate. If you like to actually watch the game, I do recommend you watch them playing the game.
Yeah, it's a good way to start out on it, because the game is honestly so overwhelming and complicated. Like, when I first started my first save, we missed like half of the stuff that you're supposed to be.
It's clearly a work of love of Larian, and we respect that. And also, it's an independent video game developing thingy.
Yeah, it's an independent studio.
Which is nice. And also they have made a very active effort to be inclusive, to their detriment at times. Like, there are mods that try to make the game less inclusive because they're like, oh, woke game. It's an amazing game. Yeah. That's the word you're looking for. Amazing, not woke.
Yeah, in a game where you can be anyone and anything that you can possibly imagine, what we need is less options to choose from.
Okay, for Shadowheart, we have the moon reversed.
Yeah.
And you came up with that. Why do you think that?
So, yeah, Shadowheart's main story is has a lot to do with amnesia.
Yeah.
Really, like, when you first meet her, she tells you she actually has no memory of her life before that, but she knows that it was on purpose. Like, she exchanged her memories, because she's essentially like a 007, like MI6 spy. She's just from a shadowy secret organization, and she's given up her memories so that she can't betray the secrets of the goddess that she worships. And as things develop on that, you learn that perhaps it wasn't as willing as she first thought. So her story is all about illusion and the shadow self, not just because her name is Shadowheart, but like, in the Jungian sense, she's repressed so many parts of her identity that are, clamoring to get to the surface, but she keeps smushing them back down. Her entire story is really about inner work and inner self-discovery, but she also kind of needs to be pushed into that. She won't do it herself unless you kind of have a go at her about it.
Yeah, fair. So the moon in tarot is not corresponded, surprisingly, with the moon, because the moon, the planet, is actually corresponded to the high priestess. The moon is usually corresponded to the sign of Pisces. which makes sense. Pisces is the mutable water. Sometimes you can get into your illusions, your delusions. It also reminds me of the Seven of Cups. But we're not going to go there for Shadowheart, because the second card that we have for her is actually, I think, let me check. We took notes. We have notes.
We actually prepared for a video for once.
It's the Knight of Wands.
Yes.
So, knights in the suits of tarot are these potential moving forward of their own suit. And wands is energy, inspiration, movement, fire. And Shadowheart, even when she doesn't exactly know why she's doing things, she wants to do them. She wants to move forward. Where are we? Where are we going? We need to still already be doing this. And I think that sort of couples with her inner world.
Yeah, they tie quite nicely together, because she has this very strong desire and motivation to become something called a Dark Justicia, which in her very typical shadowy secret self, she can't wait to tell you, and tell you often. And this is a motivation that's kind of pushed her throughout her entire life to be a better worshipper of her goddess, to honor her in the best possible way. And there is nothing that can stop her from getting to that goal. And she makes a beeline straight forward. We also had the Eight of Wands as a potential.
Which, in ways, they are similar, the Knight and the Eight. But I think the Eight then went assigned to someone else for other reasons. So we tried to keep it at non-repeating cards as well. So that's also part of it. And the movement of the Knight made sense for her, but not of any other suits other than Wands.
She's not the most rushing towards her goal in the game. So that's why, she gets the Knight, because there is that marching onwards, but not in the, like, I'm going to make a beeline straight forward. This is just something that is a constant backdrop to her motivations that is continuously pushing her along, but not in a...
Next, we have Gale of Waterdeep. Now,
I'm Gale of Waterdeep.
I had great expectations of Gale when I just read about Baldur's Gate, because that's also the thing that maybe we should explain. Like, I learned of Baldur's Gate the first time from Lisa's playthrough, where the main thing talking about was the Pale Elf quest. But then for a good 3-4 months, we just read and learned and searched around about Baldur's Gate without actually having played it. Gale was sold to me as the quintessential representation of special interest autism that I should have appreciated. And then I saw Gale playing, and I realized that Gale is a C-set man with autism. And if you go to Autism in Women on Reddit, you will understand exactly what I mean. What is Greg Wallace that has decided to blame on autism the fact that he doesn't wear underwear?
Yeah,
it's the kind of thing, it takes a very specific kind of autism and privilege to bring out that arrogance.
Yeah.
And Gale has that, unfortunately. It's not one of my favorite characters.
I mean, he actually says "m'lady." Rather than saying cis-het male with autism, I would say he's a Redditor.
Okay, I'll give you that. Gale, without even going into, we'll go in the fact that his final ambition is to become the god of ambition. The first card that we picked for him is the Hierophant, because let's give it to him. He has this interest for learning. He has learned and read everything that there was to read about, and he tries to play by the rules, which, in a way, I think it's objectable, because explain exactly to me how you're playing by the rules when you sleep with your goddess and hope that if you cry enough in bed, you'll convince her to give her more secrets. I told you I have issues with Gale, and I think they are valid. Even from a feminist point of view, my issues with Gale are valid. But, it's personal opinion. So, Gale has a bit this, I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. Oh, Mistra, can you give me more power? Can you give me more secret? Please. I have issue with that.
For those who aren't familiar with D&D classes, the difference between, say, a wizard and a sorcerer is that a sorcerer has a natural affinity to magic. Their blood is magic. It's part of their biology, is that they have magic. Whereas a wizard is a learned magician.
Yeah.
They rely on books. They rely on scrolls and school. They often have like tutors that will teach them how to perform different spells and things. So it's it's very much that turn to institutions.
Yeah, and I can give him that. Fine.
I mean, so yeah, a bit of a spoiler for one of the romance scenes, because you can romance basically everyone in this game. But one of the aspects of his romance scene is that he wants to copy the sex moves from the magical Kama Sutra. Like, even in those where you want to be spontaneous and romantic, he's like, I've got a nice book about this. Shall we follow the book?
Yeah, I think the Hierophant.
Yeah.
So by all means, if you have other ideas, if you want to defend Gale's case, do try that in the comments. Surprise me. The second card, indeed, that we have for him is the Reverse King of Swords.
Yeah.
Because it's related to this desire to learn, that can go really, really wrong.
Yeah, depending on which path you choose, he can become the god of ambition, but it's very much the god of blind ambition. Like, he gets in his head an idea of how to gain more power and he goes for it, and he has just complete blinders on. He can't foresee any negative consequences.
I don't think he cares about the negative consequences. I think he has gathered enough knowledge, and he has enough white man privilege to think that anything he does in the end is for good, even if it doesn't seem like that right now. He genuinely does not seem to have the self-criticism ability. And therefore, with all that knowledge and all that power, it does feel like a King of Swords that has gone awry and can abuse his power, can abuse his knowledge and wit and words.
There's a lot of people in this game that are power hungry, and their main quest is like seeking power. But if you were to rank them, like, Gale's at least joint first place.
Yeah.
In every instance.
Yeah. Next we have Wyll. I like Wyll.
Yeah,
but Wyll has been, I don't know, there have been second thoughts at Larian when they were writing him. I think most of his
an afterthought.
Yeah, I think most of his character was just trashed and then rewritten quickly, and you can kind of tell that. Like, there was so much potential. Also, I love Theo, his VA.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah. the thought. Honestly, if you haven't seen like the times where the VAs like play D&D, I do advise, because Theo and Sam that plays Karlach, they're really nice people to see play.
To look at.
Yeah. Let's be honest. But yeah, is a bit like the blueberry pie that has been, messed with a bit too much, and then it just seems like it doesn't quite come together. But his storyline is very, at least, direct and noble. He is a warlock.
Yep.
And therefore, to be a warlock, you need to have made a pact with a higher entity.
Yeah, it can be like a devil, it can be a god, it can be an archfey. You can do it with hags. There's lots of magical beings and like celestial realm level entities that you can create your pact with, and they'll exchange power for usually some form of service or goal that needs to be reached. However, Wyll's pact is like quite ironclad, and he essentially is in indentured servitude to his patron, which is unusual for a warlock. Warlocks don't normally have to do everything that their patron orders of them at any given time. And so, without any hint of irony whatsoever...
Yeah, realistically, we have given the first card of Wyll as the devil.
Again, this has nothing to do with what happens to him in his storyline.
No, it's, if anything, in the card of the devil, we see him more as one of the puppets that you have. Even in the original Marseille, you have the figure of the devil with these two figures that sometimes are considered, Adam and Eve.
The supplicants.
Yeah. And they are in chains, and they are basically puppets of the devil. So I think in this case specifically, it has more to do with the fact that he is literally that much of a puppet for a bad entity who also happens to be a devil.
Yeah.
So that's actually, but it's more for the way that he unfortunately has to blindly always do or pay the consequences of his choices.
And then the other aspect of that is...
It's the magician reversed. So, we got to this a bit, it's not convolutedly, but let's reason it again. Let's reason it again. Because one thing of the magician in the olden system, so the Marseille, like, the magician, which now we see as these sort of independence, you have power of manifestation in your hands, you have everything you need to make things happen. That's how we read the magician nowadays in the Rider-Waite-Smith system. It originally comes from the Marseille system, and in the Marseille, sometimes, well, no, most of the times, it was literally called in the French le battleur, which is the trickster. It's the person at the corner of a street that plays the tree-cup game, kinda. So he's there to trick you, basically, and he has this sleight of hand ability to trick you. Why did you choose this for Wyll again?
So because if you find out his backstory and you listen to him talk, it becomes quite clear that he was manipulated into this pact from the beginning. Like, he was purposefully pushed into situations as like a complete pawn by his patron, who then put him into a situation in which she knew that he, because of his values and because of his ideals, like, this is the thing, Wyll's a great guy. He has all the best intentions in the world, but if you put a fake damsel in distress with a cardboard box on top of it, with a stick and a bit of string, he'll run straight underneath that cardboard box and you can just pull it.
So it's this thing of having, you have everything in your power to do things, and he still manages to do the bad choice because Wyll, well-intentioned as he is, on the long run, his choices and the things that he does end up negatively for him and for people around him.
And it works with both sides of the magician as well, because he's given all of the tools to achieve his goals and to do what he feels like is right to do. He just has no idea that he's being tricked into doing it for someone else.
So it works. For most characters we have considered, there's an essence of them and there's an evolution. In the case of Wyll, these two cards sort of work together all the time.
Yeah, it's part of the issue of Wyll's story is that there basically is no evolution.
No.
He doesn't really have any agency as a character.
Yeah, he's what it is, and he doesn't have as much of a developmental arc as other characters in the story. Next we have Lae'zel.
Bazel.
I I forgot. Like, when I did the list, I was like, I forgot anyone. I don't know why. It's not that I don't like Lae'zel. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry.
But very simple for this one.
Yeah, so Lae'zel is drive embodied,
incarnate.
If I've ever seen it. Like, especially because she can join you quite early in the game, and it doesn't matter that at that point you have stuff planned to do. I want to go to the Druid's Grove. I have to. No. We go to the crash.
Oh, I mean, even on the tutorial level. So on the Nautilus, it's like, we must go to the helm. It's like, okay, can I help this other girl who's like stuck? He's like, no, we must go to the helm.
So no surprises there. She's a bit of a chariot.
Yes.
According to this kind of drive that sees nothing.
Yeah, single track.
Yeah.
Train plowing through the snow. She's Snowpiercer running around the world 1,000 cars long. Along
with that, because of the development of her story, we gave her the Eight of Cups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the Eight of Cups is this card of, in a way, similar to the Six of Swords, but whereas, in my vision at least, the Six of Swords is, okay, this situation has now gone to shit, and it's not ideal that it has gone to shit, but it's for our best that we move forward to new shores. That's the Six of Swords. The Eight of Cups has more heart-rending to it, because...
I mean, some of the most emotionally powerful scenes in the game are with Lae'zel in learning that her life essentially is a lie.
Yeah.
And so she has to give up everything that was driving her, like everything that was pushing her along that track to get her to where she was supposed to be. She has to give all of that up, and it is absolutely heartbreaking, but it really does help her develop as a person. There is this gorgeous positive light that comes out of her as you move on to the rest of the game. And so
as you might have guessed, that to us is the Eight of Cups, which literally embodies this. There's something that you are really emotionally connected to, but it's not good for you, and might be ruining your life. And as much as it pains you to leave things behind, some things need to be left behind. But unlike the Six of Swords, it's hard to look forward to what next will come, Because.
She doesn't even know. Like,
no, exactly. What do you know after you've lost everything you knew?
Yeah, she essentially is. I mean, she gets it back, but for a little while there, she has basically no goal.
It's just like, oh, I've lost everything I know without anything to replace it. Next, we have Karlach. We are partial on Karlach. No, everybody should be partial about Karlach. Karlach is adorable. Karlach is this genuine, good creature. No matter how many bad things happen to her, she has this hopefulness, she has this big heart. She has just spent 10 years in hell because she was tricked. Because someone that she trusted betrayed her. 3 of Swords, which we didn't assign to anyone. But if we want to go backstory, the backstory of Karlach is 3 of Swords, is 10 of Swords. Like somebody that she trusted betrayed her and sold her to a devil. And for 10 years, she was in hell. And still, she is this hopeful, fluffy, adorable thing with all the possibly positive takes on life, which I kinda respect. Yep. I'm partial.
And so for
that, a lot of people will disagree because they think that other people go to discard. I'll explain why, you know. But because of that...
This isn't a game of nominative determinism, so...
Karlach is mainly the star.
Yes.
Because the star is the hopefulness
that follows the tower.
Exactly. And literally, considering that the tower was, how else do you describe 10 years of servitude in hell? And I think it describes the childlike wonder and excitement, and she always sees the positive in everything that's happening, because I guess everything is more positive than being in hell.
Yeah.
Which is quintessential star to me. Like, the star is considered hope in general. But I don't think that enough times we focus on the fact that it comes in a journey. The journey is after the tower, and if the tower has brought everything down to ashes, is having that kind of wonder and hope just because there is a little gem coming out of the ashes. It's not winning the lottery, it's not something huge, it's the smallest thing that gives you hope because you come from literally complete destruction.
Yeah, I mean, the wonderful thing if you play as her origin is, you know, waking up in a crashed spaceship, essentially surrounded by fire and destruction and guts and gore and horror, and she's like, oh my god, I'm back! I'm home!
How do you not love her?
Yeah.
The other card that we gave her is the 7 of Wands. Because admittedly, all that she has to do, and especially in the second part of the game, when it becomes clear that there will be a choice to make, and because of how she's been betrayed.
Yeah, I mean, as happy as she is, everything in the world is designed to ruin that happiness for her. And so most of the game is her just batting away, like with a literal baseball bat, every single curveball that anyone throws at her, and like, no, I'm being hopeful. I'm the master of my own fate. I'm not going back.
Yeah. So it's a 7 of Wands. Like, the 7 of Wands usually is seen both in the Marseille actually and in the Raider with Smith. Like, they're slightly different, but the concept is the same. And after the celebration and wholeness of the 6 numerologically in Marseille, or the way that we see it in the Rider Waite Smith, which is literally just success and recognition, once you get in a stable position or in a position of success, then the detractors start to come and you need to start having to defend yourself. And so that constant need to defend her existence in the way that it is, and no, I don't want to go back, even if it saves my life, stuff like that we assigned to the 7 of Wands. And last, but absolutely not least, for the origin characters, we have Astarion, the Pale Elf, the boyfriend as Lisa and Dawn. Lisa and Dawn play together. They call him. So let's talk about Astarion for a second. I used to like Astarion a lot, especially before playing the game. Because Astarion is an archetype that we are very familiar with. It's an archetype that it's the Byronian hero that in modern times was resurrected, I would say, with Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then brought on...
we get a few instances of it then throughout the noughties. So, like, all those vampire shows.
Yeah, the Vampire Diaries.
Right, in Twilight and the Vampire Diaries, you're riffing more off of Angel.
Yeah.
But then we get Eric in True Blood.
Yeah.
That's very much a Spike character. And then...
So, I don't know if people get into special interest as much as I have. Astarion was a special interest of mine for a while, and unfortunately, doing that, I had to learn about his voice actor, which is Neil Newbon. And I think Neil shared his original audition for Astarion, which is so very obviously clearly inspired by the speech that Tom Hiddleston did as Loki.
The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for a place in this chamber. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name! Say my name!
Do you suppose that's amusing? That pig language cannot do justice to what I'm about to do to you.
The whole H speech was based on the Avengers one. It's very obvious what Neil went for when he auditioned for Astarion. And I completely see it. I completely see still the source of Astarion being the dark, broody, sexy, that Loki was made to become true Avengers because Joss Whedon. Like, that's the funny thing here. We had a video specifically just about this, so maybe that's why I'm a bit...
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Astarion was very good on paper, and I think the fandom has done amazing work on him and has given an example of how well you can take a principle and then, with personal knowledge of certain kinds of suffering, you can make it into something very good.
I think the issue is the Frankenfurter. Using Frankenfurter as an inspiration for the campness.
So, I'm gonna say something really, really unpopular. I question the choices that Neil Newbon made portraying Astarion. I think as a concept of either redemption or falling into certain cycles, Astarion as a potential, and the concept of vampirism, there's so much. But Neil played a bit too much the style exercise on him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people seem to be okay with that because they have overlapped Astarion and Neil. And I know that I'm a very reduced public figure, but I understand the concept of a character, a person that portrays that character, you overlap them, and so the benefits of one go into the other if there's more benefits, if there's more positives, and not necessarily the other way around.
So it's something that we notice much more with Astarion than we do with any other character in the game.
Yeah.
Is when lines have been recorded on different days.
So I think one of the things is that Neil, as an actor, as a professional, clearly has done something good. And he's also a director for things that have to do with mocap. So a lot of his stuff, he wasn't there, he directed himself. And when you direct yourself,
you have no one to say no to you.
Yeah, and you can tell. And I understand the kind of style exercise play that he has tried to do at times. I personally cannot stand it, and that detracted a lot from Astarion as the character that I knew before actually playing the game. And thank goodness for the fandom. I will only say that. In that, after that huge premise that will get me hated in the fandom, because I still go daily, like on OnlyFans on Reddit, and it breaks my heart every time.
And also, so like every run that we've played, you've romanced Astarion. You do genuinely like the character, you like the writing, you like the story, you like how he looks. There's just so many aspects about the voice acting where you just go, oh my god, why?
That's how bad it personally irks me. It's a personal thing, and I'm more than happy if people like him, if people like Neil, good for them.
The tone switches.
I just insane. I can't. Also because
I've got something I perhaps should have mentioned that hasn't come up in natural conversation. I'm a vampire. Also, and this is between you and me, nobody needs to know,
But when Neil claims that the inspiration for that kind of campiness is Arlecchino from the Commedia dell'arte, I'm sorry, I'm Italian, I know those characters. No.
Anyway, we love Astarion.
We love Astarion. It's just hard at times. We are a bit too demanding, maybe, of the boy. The first card that we have is the Eight of Swords.
Yeah, which is my immediate choice for Astarion. Because, so like Neil loves to talk about the motivations for the character that he had in acting. And, you know, he collaborated with the writers on getting the storyline down and different story beats. And the thing that he always had as a motivation is that Astarion, above all things, wants freedom. Mm-hmm. However, I think the thing that Neil very much misses from this is that he's in a jail of his own making. Mm-hmm. So you have his master Cazador, who turned him into a vampire, and in D&D lore, a vampire spawn is a slave in every sense of the word to their master, unless their master dies or they get turned into a true vampire. However, Astarion will talk about Cazador as if he is this absolute monster, the strongest thing in the entirety of Faerun, and he's so dangerous, and you don't know him. You would never be able to beat him. He could destroy us like that. And then you meet Cazador, and he is just a slimy, whiny little bitch.
Which, I know that of all the stories, either it's not the only character that comes with PTSD, let's be honest, and comes from abuse. But it's probably the main character that it's been talked about a lot, because it's very obvious. Like, when you romance Astarion, he makes it very obvious. He is basically a survivor of sex trafficking, because he's forced to use his body to lure creatures in for Cazador. And he has become acquainted with that being the only part of him that he knows. But that's why when you romance him, you actually will come to a point where he's like, I actually don't feel like doing sex because I don't know how much of it I want, how much of my body is mine, and how much I've been used to just give. So for a while, you can be romantically together, but in a non-sexual way, which I think is a great thing to portray. I don't think those things are portrayed enough, especially for someone that is depicted in that, tall, dark, and mysterious way that, let's be honest, just even seeing the fanfictions, not just from Astarion, but even from Loki time, the vampire is a sexual creature because it's the entire reason why it exists in the first place as a metaphor in our stories.
So I think one of the best parallels between Astarion and, say, from something else is Jessica Jones in the Netflix show, where in the year that she was with Kilgrave, where Kilgrave is controlling her mind.
Yes.
And everything he tells her to do, she's forced to do, is that she gets so used to that one time he just says the words without using his power, or like when his power isn't effective, and she follows it.
Anyway.
Without realizing that actually he didn't make her do it. She just got so used to doing what he said that even when he isn't using his power, she's still obeying that. And that's the mental bars that have been put in place, but
which we know, like, as a
it's the blindfold aspect of the Eight of Swords. Like, if you took it off and you could see that you were free, you could just walk out.
At the same time, I completely understand. Like, we both have experiences of holding people or abusers that were in our past, and it takes a long time to process and to realize that they're not dragons that they could turn you to ashes in a second. But it's a process, and it's not to say that it's not valid that Astarion feels a way about Cazador, but that's exactly why we go into the Eight of Swords, because of that, because it's...
And it is a design choice as well. Like, there's been people who complain about Cazador's design. They were like, oh my god, I thought I was going to fight like the big bad boss of Faerun, and like, what is this? It's not scary in the slightest. Like, and that's intentional.
Yeah.
That is part of the design of, like, he was so overpowering to Astarion that Astarion has built him up in his own mind.
Which is, what happens when you are a victim of abuse. Yeah. The other card that we have for him it's the Hanged Man. And that came to me at the time that everybody was saying, no, Astarion is the star. And despite the fact that he has it in his name, and, I can vaguely see the concept of, he's learning to be himself and for himself for the first time in 200 years. So there's this kind of hope, especially if you go the Spawn direction rather than the Ascended direction. But to me, that's not crucial enough to his character to be the defining trait. As much as, the Star is my favorite card in the deck. So, and Astarion technically is my favorite, despite everything, it's still my favorite card. Think what it could have been. But,
And again, tying into the the blindfold of the Eight of Swords, the aspect of the Hanged Man that is, he has put himself there.
Yes, there's this sacrificial lamb vision. And especially, and I will die on this hill, especially if you go the Spawn way. So, am I the only one crazy enough to think? I'm sorry. It's something that I feel very strongly about. So, Astarion has two possible choices, which most of the characters go through, and is considered the good or the evil choice. And for Astarion is either killing his master but staying a vampire spawn. And here's the thing of lore. For a vampire spawn to be what they are, one of the things is that they can't turn anyone. Like, they are as powerful as a vampire. If your master dies, you are not his puppet anymore. But that's it. And it comes with the gilded issue of immortality. So you will live forever, everybody around you will die, and you can't do anything about it.
Like, if you're a vampire spawn and your partner gets turned by another vampire master, then they become a spawn slave of that master.
So there's no good way to be with anyone, and the choice of staying a spawn means that eventually he will always be alone. And I don't understand why we are stuck on this idea that there needs to be even that kind of noble punishment to be a good ending. And I think it's Christian and Puritanism that still stick with us with this idea that we need to sacrifice. On the other hand, you have the Ascension, and in the Ascension, basically, he becomes this super vampire, more than Cazador, kills Cazador, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants because he's the most powerful thing as vampires go.
He also very much kind of like loses his soul in a very kind of Buffy sense.
Yeah, it's just like he becomes obsessed with power in a way. The relationship becomes a bit BDSM-y in a wrong way because it's non-consensual just because you can't say no. If you say no, you break up with Astarion. So I kind of get that. But nobody notices that there's a huge missing point in the choice that he's been given, which to me has always been, you're killing Cazador anyway. Fucking drink his blood and become a full vampire master. You don't have to ascend and, kill all the people involved in that. You don't have to stay a spawn, though. And the fact that we can only see this sacrifice of staying a spawn as the good ending, to me, says a lot about the collective Christian guilt that we go around with. And we maybe don't even consider that, we just consider it cultural now, but it's a real issue if you ask.
The ending where he gets the most perspective as a key element of the Hanged Man is through the Spawn ending. Like, that's when he realizes, like say, that's why some people give him the star, is that he can be himself now, he can make his own choices about his life, and he can do it, but he has also sacrificed this aspect to get that perspective. And in doing so, he has put himself into this situation.
And in the end, he will be punished for it. Yeah. Because, again, if you are this immortal creature that can't turn or can't keep someone with them, you're just choosing long-term punishment. So it sounds insane to me that people do not realize that tiny but crucial detail.
And again, it is very angel and jealous. Those are the two choices you get. So that's the thing with it, right? So in Buffy, there's the two vampire love interests. Yeah. Spike, that Astarion seems to be based on, because he has that kind of rough...
I mean, Loki was based on Spike, so it makes sense.
And Astarion seems based on Loki in a sense. But yeah, with Spike, he's just sort of a brawler who throws himself into situations. And when Spike gets his soul, it doesn't really change that much. Like, he retains his personality, whereas Angel is much more of like a Jekyll and Hyde split personality.
Yeah.
situation where when he has a soul, he's, no, I must brood and atone for all my sins for the rest of time.
God, Christianity played the number on all of us, eh?
I mean, vampires are so tied into Christianity,
Yeah.
so it makes sense.
Right, next we go on to the companions that we get, but not necessarily origin, so you can't play them from the beginning. The first one that we have is Halsin, which is this master druid.
Would you rather meet a man or a bear in the woods? Why choose?
So Halsin is this huge softie. He's a wood elf, so he lives a long lifespan. He is not contaminated with one of the tadpoles, which is the entire point of this story and this game. And at first we seek Halsin because we hope that he will cure us from this parasite in our mind, in our brain. Something that I really, I very much like, and I don't think enough people notice, is that we all think sexy things about Astarion because he's a twink, he looks good. Let's be very, very practical here. And also, you know, it does all the sexy, charming thing because it's his shit. Halsin has this communing with nature that is also very, very sexual and in a very chilled way. Like, it's absolutely not, sexuality is part of life, it's how you procreate. So he doesn't have it in the forbidden, sexy way that Astarion does, but it's just so intrinsic to him.
Yeah, he's such a crunchy hippie that, like, lives on a naturist beach.
Yeah.
He's into polyamory.
It's like, Halsin is very, like, chill on that sexuality, but it's very, very sexual. And because of that, challenge me on this, I've given him the Empress. Yeah. Because the Empress, you know, in Tarot as a major arcana is this creative force, sexual force as well. Sometimes she is depicted as a pregnant woman. To me, it's this energy of bringing together and developing and making creativity grow in a way. And there's also the connection to nature in a wild sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember reading somewhere that if the Empress is the uncontaminated earth, then the Emperor comes in and it starts to be agriculture that, you know, makes sense and gives barrier and gives a way to actually cultivate in a specific way. But the Empress is this wildness of growth.
That's something in D&D, that the gods of nature tend to be much more forces of chaos.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, in the classic 9-square thing, you have lawful, neutral, chaos, and good, neutral, evil.
Yeah.
And the forces of nature are often chaotic. Sometimes they're chaotic neutral in that, you know, they can go either way.
Yeah.
But generally we're looking for chaotic good.
Yeah. In
that, you know, nature reclaims, nature will pave new paths. Nature is destruction as much as it is creation.
And to me, genuinely, like that sense of...
If the Emperor is lawful order,
yes,
then the Empress is chaotic regrowth.
Yeah. Along with that, because of his own storyline, we gave Halsin the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah. Because Halsin, again, he has a long lifespan being an elf, and he has plans. Like, he is patient, he has put down seeds, he has work to do, and he's been on it for a long time.
Every place he shows up at, except for one exception, happened 100 years ago, we don't need to talk about it anymore. But everywhere he goes, he leaves better than he found it. And it's that very much like he plants seeds, can't explain.
That's our Halsin list. Then we have Jaheira. So Jaheira is actually, in all contexts, the quintessential witch to me. The quintessential green witch. She's a druid as well.
She's called a witch in the game.
She's called, like, she has been called a witch in the game. And I kind of see why. And she's also the head of this rebel faction. I can see the overlapping of literally myself and Jaheira. The first card that we gave Jaheira is the Queen of Pentacles. Because when you start to know her a bit more, especially in Act 3, and you learn about her life, she is this sort of maternal figure around which she has gathered all these renegade orphans to take care of them and to give them a better life and to teach them what's good and what's bad, and then let's go rebel together.
Yep.
And that energy to me is that, at times, tough love that a Queen of Pentacles gives. Like, she can be very practical, and in her practicality, she can seem tough.
Yeah, the way I would put it is she's very call me mother.
Yeah.
In that, like, I am your mother, and also I am the baddest bitch that you know.
It's mother in ballroom terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, so, you know, I don't think she has any children of herself, but
No, yeah.
she is very much like the mother of this order that
Yeah.
she's part of. She has these, orphans that she brought into a house that live together. She's a mother very much in that cultural sense rather than that biological sense that we hate so much on this channel.
Yeah, it's that central node around which a community grows. Yeah. And that usually has always been the vision that I have for the Queen of Pentacles, whereas the King of Pentacles is this force that looks at the future and so to create legacy. The Queen of Pentacles is here now and nurtures the people around them. And at least that's my vision. And then I know that the court cards can become very controversial because we all have different perception. By all means, let me know what your perception is on this. The second card that we have for Jaheira is Strength.
Yeah.
Now, Strength originally was Fortitude. And Fortitude in the Marseille version, and in the way that I also know of Fortitudine in Italian, is actually a quite different meaning from the idea of brute strength. I also, the vision of the card of Strength is this woman that is possibly opening, possibly forcing, possibly actually doing it sweetly, but with the jaws of a lion. So I completely understand why the first feeling can be the brute strength of winning over something so strong as a lion and so. But Fortitude, the closest thing that I can think of is patience, is there's work to do, we need to keep chill, we need to keep at it. The strength to keep at something, even when it doesn't seem to yield anything. And that is Fortitude, and that is the way that I saw it in Jaheira, because Jaheira is also an elf, has lived for a long time, has gone through a lot of personal losses.
Most importantly, she's seen the same crap come up again and again and again, and she has to keep dealing with the same problem, with the same kinds of people. She's very much the keep going even though it never ends. And just, will someone please let her put her feet up and give her a massage because she needs it.
Yeah.
But no, she has to to drag these rabble of misfits around.
So bless. We have love for the tough love that Jaheira gives us, basically. Last in our companions that we can gather and use directly is Minthara.
Yeah, so if Jaheira is call me mother, Minthara is call me mummy.
So Minthara we meet in Act 2. So it takes
we meet in Act 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
She's in the Goblin Town.
Oh, that's true. And she is this drow that has been exiled from her people and her place and her town. So she knows that she does not belong, and she has to stick up for herself.
And she's from a place where there's a very hierarchical matriarchy. Everyone is very backstabbing, and betrayal is around every single corner. You have to constantly watch your back.
And it's part of the game. Like, they don't even consider it a bad thing. For these reasons, we have picked the first card as the Queen of Swords. Because of the understanding of everything that happens around you and the cleverness and the brain readiness to understand how to turn things around for your advantage. It can be a good thing, it could be used for good or bad, and it's up to you, but the Queen of Swords, because of these machinations, is the first card that we thought for her.
I'd say, one incredible aspect about her, if you romance her, is that she's so worried about someone poisoning you that she starts slipping you tiny amounts of poison into your food every single day so that you build up a resistance to it. So
It's her love language, okay?
yeah. Her love language is poisoning your breakfast every single day.
The second card that we picked for her is Judgment. Okay. Judgment is the card where all your chickens come home to roost. So it's both a card where everything you've done so far is gonna yield a return, whether good or bad, because it depends on what you've put in it. But also, because, the original card was literally Judgment Day, there's also this aspect of rebirth connected to it, where, the sum of all that you've done is now counted, and from now on, with this new slate, you need to start over as a person. And this applies to Minthara because, I don't know, I don't remember.
Because, she was very much like a religious zealot.
Okay, yeah.
So when she lived in the Underdark, she was a devotee of Lolth,
Yes.
who is a demon goddess spider thing. She has all these very kind of like spidery elements. But then when she gets indoctrinated into the cult of the Absolute, she becomes the strongest devotee of that as well. And once you free her, because she was able to kind of like, even though she was indoctrinated away from Lolth, and then realizes what happened to her under the cult of the Absolute, she recognizes that she was in as much of a cult before then as she is when she literally had no choice. Like, she was very mentally dominated by the tadpole into believing in this goddess that isn't a real goddess. And so moving on from that, she does look back on her past the second that she's freed. She's like, hey, never going to do that again. No one is.
I've learned my lesson.
No one is going to have that level of power over me, and I'm never going to allow anyone to have that level of power over me at any cost. So it still goes into that
Queen of Swords.
So yeah, it still goes into that Queen of Swords energy. But also then it becomes a case of like, but beyond that, who am I going to become? However, it's still based on this life of backstabbing and evil.
Yeah.
So her future choices are very much a reflection of the choices that she made in the past.
Yeah.
She hasn't had the other experiences to draw upon.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of stuck in this single lane of like, hey, I never want to be in this position again. Therefore, I need to do this, this, and this, and this to make that happen. So when you say, it's all your chickens coming home to roost, she has a very specific kind of chicken coming home to roost, and that's what she has to deal with.
Fair. Next, we have the Emperor. Why do we have the Emperor? It's an interesting choice.
He's the main character. He's with you throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, like the game wouldn't exist without the Emperor, admittedly. That's
and you'd
fair.
think with a name like the Emperor, there'd be a very obvious choice here.
No, it's not. The first card that we have for the Emperor is the Seven of Swords, because it's very, the entirety of the story progresses because this character, this Illithid, tricks you in a way. Like, I am one of the few people, possibly because it's my birth card, that tries to see the positive in the Seven of Swords, and along with the mischief, the trickery, the manipulation, you're stealing the swords, is also trying to see the positive in maybe we're stealing the swords because we don't want to fight at dawn, and so we'll have to be diplomatic about it. That's fine.
And there is a lot of diplomacy to the way that the Emperor manipulates you.
It's still manipulation, but
like, he has the power to break your psyche and make you do whatever he wants, but he's done that already, and he's decided, that's not the best way to do things. And so he tries this new experiment of like, hey, what if I just convince people to do what I want?
And make them think that it's a good thing.
Yeah, by lying to them about everything that they're doing.
So yeah, that was pretty much in all his aspects the first card that we went for.
Like, he can turn very like, no, I'm in charge. But that's if his diplomacy efforts
has failed. Therefore, the second card is also the Two of Swords, and I was skeptical about assigning the same suit, no trump, to a character.
He is a very one-sided character, to be fair.
But like there's not many aspects to it. And the Two of Swords is specifically because the entire reason for the game to exist and for the Emperor to seem like your ally because he wants you to do something is that he wants free from the Absolute, which is this super nether brain. But what shocked me is that some choices that you make, if you resist the Emperor too much, literally make him turn on his heels and go, you know what, fuck you, I'm going back to the Absolute because I need to take you down.
Yeah.
And that kind of, there's only bad choices to be made here, even in choices. That feels very too swordy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it is also like from your perspective as a player, your only choices with the Emperor are bad choices.
Yeah.
Like you either piss him off and so he turns against you, or you be manipulated by him. There's no option where you can convince him to come around to your side. There's just, I am being manipulated, and either you don't know you're being manipulated and you think that you're in charge and you're making a good choice, but it's his choice all along.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil, otherwise the game would not be there. So we deal with him. Right, we are going to the Dead Three, which are the main villains of this game, and the first one we have is Gortash, who is not handsome by any...
But the game says so. The game says multiple times, he is a younger, handsome man. Are you saying the game is lying to you?
Amelia, you had to read those lines. Were you convinced when you read those lines? Because, come on.
I'm not sure she'd seen his face when she read those lines.
Anyway, Gortash, Enver Gortash.
He's based on Jason Isaacs.
That's the problem. I actually like Jason Isaacs, so I genuinely don't understand what they thought. No, that's not. There's nothing. That being said, Gortash to us on the first card is the magician in the Marseille sense of the battleur, the trickster. Because, come on, that's all he's trying to do. It tries to fool you with all the meanings that he has to make you do what he wants.
Like, I literally don't know what Gortash can do.
He can do that. He can talk his way through things, which is literally that sense of con artist. It's possibly exactly the con artist aspect of the magician, of the battleur, of the bagatto.
But it's not like he has charisma.
No, I don't. No. Like, he has accumulated this power by making deals and exchanges. He is the one who sells Karlach to the hells. Do I need to say more? Do I? No. It's bad. It's just bad. And the fact that he uses his acumen at times and everything at his disposal to just do bad stuff and become more powerful is unfortunately too similar to real life people that just are around at this time. Yeah. At this moment in time in history. So, yeah, I would say that he's the self-made billionaire. Yeah. Which, do I need to say more? If you're a billionaire, you haven't worked for what you have.
I've never seen anyone who dresses more nouveau riche than Gortash.
Just to show the impression of richness rather than...
I love his sparkly mittens.
And indeed, going along with this, the second card that we have for him is the Five of Wands. Because he's always there trying to fight.
You can't have a conversation with him. You can only have a battle.
Honestly, like, I understand that he needs to be a villain, but you genuinely want to squash him under your boot. And the other two villains, they're villains, but I don't feel this strongly against them. Also, I look at him and I feel he has poor personal hygiene. I don't know why. I look at him and I know. I don't know why I know, but I know.
Yeah.
Then we have Ketherich Thorm, which is the first one that we fight of the three in the second act.
Yeah, the true bone daddy.
I mean, Ketherich is a fascinating character. And
yeah, he's got the richest backstory.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot. He's experienced a lot of losses and made some very bad decisions based upon those losses. That are all at least understandable.
Yeah, I completely understand why Ketherich, blinded by hurt and pain and loss and suffering, did what he did. I do not feel like judging him. But therefore, because of this sense of loss and the poor choices that he made based on that, we gave him the Five of Cups first and foremost, because it's this idea of such is the way that you are taken by the loss that you do not see about anything that you had left.
Yeah, he is constantly corrupted by darkness in that true sense of, like, he can't even bear to look at the light anymore because the light reminds him of what he's lost. And so he retreats further and further and further into himself. And he literally will not look at anything good that is put in front of him because goodness reminds him of the things that he used to love.
Yeah, yeah. Along with it, we gave him the reverse King of Wands, because admittedly, to me it's insanity that Gortash and Orin got anywhere without Ketherich. Like, Ketherich clearly is this charismatic leader that knows how to pull together people, that knows how to drive people, and that is just doing it for bad reasons now, and therefore reversed. But that sense of charisma and leadership that is embodied by the King of Wands is definitely something that I see in Ketherich, even being the evil villain that he is.
But he will use it. He'll use his power to break people's will.
Yeah.
And completely subjugate them. Like, his daughter, if you give up his daughter and allow her to be captured so that he can bring her back, like, he'll turn her into a thrall, because having her under his control is more important than her loving him back. Like, that's you know, he has this need to be in control of absolutely everything that's around him at all time, and he will not tolerate any kind of deviation from his will.
Interestingly, in that sense, he's also a reverse emperor, and I can see the similarities in general through the emperor and the King of Wands, so yeah, it kind of makes sense. Last question mark. We have Orin, which is the last of the big bads. Orin is completely deranged, and there's not even a way that she wants to excuse it. It's intrinsic part of her character.
She wasn't born sane. She was a psycho baby.
Yeah, it's just part of her characteristics. So the first card that we gave her is the Fool reversed, because, as I said when we were picking these cards, different from like just hope or naivete, like we gave Karlach the Star, the Fool, in having that foolishness, requires a teensy bit of privilege, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you couldn't just go to the cliff and try to see if you don't fall. Like, you need to have some backup.
Yeah, she's from a noble bloodline.
Yeah.
In the very aristocratic sense.
Like, you need something in your corner to be able to afford yourself that childlike wonder or that chaotic madness, because those will bring consequences, and how you deal with those consequences have to do with your ability. The magician we go over in the...
I mean, she almost has no ambition. Like, she has motivation, but she has no ambition to really do anything with it. She's so addicted to doing that she'll just like run into no matter what. And that's, it's not, I can't say it's not blind ambition, but it is just walking off a cliff for the sake of walking.
And she knows that she's gonna land.
Yeah.
Not just because, by all means, of this privilege, but also because the second card that we picked for her, 8 of Pentacles. She has honed her skill on everybody's skin.
Yeah.
On everybody else's skin.
Yeah, multiple people in the game call Orin an artist.
And yeah, like she has spent a lot of time perfecting her art.
So yeah, that's the thing, is you get Orin as a foil, as a reflection of the Dark Urge, which is one of the characters you can choose to design yourself. And the Dark Urge is very much driven by, like, yeah, this uncontrollable urge to kill things, but doesn't necessarily care how.
Yeah.
Like, she's let the bodies pile high kind of thing, whereas Orin is like, let me turn this body into a tapestry.
And that's very 8 of Pentacles for her. Technically, that concludes the hour and some minutes that we have spent talking to you. However, we have a bonus because we just like the character and it feels bad not to talk about it. And also, if you enjoyed this, let us know. We know the game very well. We can do this for NPCs very easily. Yeah. And this is the main NPC that doesn't even go with the villains. It's just very interesting. And I also, different from Astarion, I have a special kind of love in my heart for Andrew Wincott, who voices Raphael in Baldur's Gate 3, because he's a proper, serious actor. Not that the others aren't, but he has done this for 30, 40 years, and you can tell. And he's just such a joy. Oh my gosh, like this man is in my heart. Can you tell?
Yeah, he's got a consistency and artistry. Everything is so thought out and measured, and yeah, you feel the work dripping off of the character.
And you can tell that he can take direction. Actually, I think Aliona, who was one of the directors in Baldur's Gate, who is Jennifer's girlfriend, they play Baldur's Gate, we mentioned at the beginning, link down in the description below. Aliona at some point had to direct Andrew. And
she was the first person she directed.
And she was like, I thought that in my perception, that's, as a director, the kind of person you're supposed to work with.
Yeah, he set the bar, and everyone else has been disappointing ever since.
Because he's been doing this forever, and he has this humbleness and humility to him that, with the way that he has honed his skill, speaking of Eight of Pentacles, it's very humbling and beautiful and surprising to witness, and he has done such a good job. And the few times, he's not often in like panels, but when he is in panels and they are online, it's a joy. If you have to go pick someone that is not an origin character to check the voice acting of, Andrew Wincott is definitely in my heart for his work on Raphael. So we did Raphael as well. Raphael is our bonus, and Raphael, surprisingly, doesn't have the dagger card. Let's get out of this, easy and quick, because it's not what we have signed him. The first card that we assigned him is the Hierophant, which is the same that we gave Gale. Yeah. And I told you I didn't like to, double on cards, but technically,
Gale and Raphael both have the same objective in the game,
which is the Crown of Karsus.
They're after the same thing. They want to do the same thing with it. They're very much reflected in each other.
Yeah.
It's just one is annoying and one is hot.
Yes. Guess which one is which. And also, in the idea of hell and devils being basically the reflection of what is bureaucracy and legality in our real 3D world, like the contract that Wyll has with Minthara exists in the same frustrating way that legal contracts exist in real life. So
words are his weapons.
Yeah, so there's this adhering to the system that exists, therefore Hierophant, and play it to a T to get what you want. And Raphael definitely does that. And the second card that we have for him is the King of Swords. Because again, it's the other half of that. Not only you need to know the system, but you need to know how to play it. And the how to play it is, again, the King of Swords is this knowledge and ability of anything that has to do with mental capacity, with intelligence, with words, with how to use words, and we have to use them to get what you want.
Yeah, his contracts that he puts people under are the most evilly crafted, well put together documents in the entire game.
They are unbreakable. Unless you steal them and destroy them, you will not get out of them. Even Wyll, technically, annoyingly, wait in time, but can get out of the contract with Minthara. There's no such thing to be done with Raphael.
Yeah, the defining characteristic of Raphael is patience.
Yeah.
He's the most important character in the entire game. He's behind everything that happens, essentially. The entire story of the game is his idea and stuff that he has set in motion, and he's been waiting 1,000 years to start doing this because the opportunity hadn't arrived yet.
And in a way, we could have given him strength as well for the same reason, but it'll come, and that concept is very, very much Raphael, which I do not. There have been times that I genuinely enjoyed the game just for the cameos, because realistically, as crucial as he doesn't appear as much in the game because he's not one of the playable characters, but he's such a joy. He's well written.
He's such a tease.
He's such a tease. And and again, I have a soft spot in my heart for someone as skilled and yet as humble as Andrew Wincott, which other actors could have learned from. I hope that this was entertaining, if nothing else. Let us know if you would like us to do more characters from Baldur's Gate or from anything else. I think next we'd like to consider assigning decks to the characters, but we'll see. Maybe you know what? Maybe this has tired you already and we will not do another. It depends on you, and the comments are your battlefield to let us know if you'd like some of that or not. And until the next time, I really hope that we can hex the Patriarchy together.
Because there's need for it.